Alright guys, today we are going over 8.9, which is the quadratic formula and the discriminant. Notes, yes. Here are some of your notes. That's the first part of your notes. Go ahead and start writing those down. Come on. So good. Alright, so whenever you have any quadratic in this form, this is called your quadratic formula. You need to have this memorized for your test. Okay, so negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. Okay, so does everybody have those two parts down?
I couldn't write the...
Okay, so then let's scroll down. Second part of your notes deals with the discriminant. Alright, so your discriminant is equal to the thing that is underneath of your square root in your quadratic formula. So b squared minus 4ac, that's your discriminant. And your discriminant will tell you how many solutions you have. So if your discriminant comes out positive, then you know you have two solutions. If your discriminant comes out negative, you have no solutions. And if your discriminant comes out 0, you have one solution. Okay, so does everybody have that down?
No.
Okay. Alright, so the first part of what we're going to do is we're going to look at our quadratic formula. Okay, and like I said, you have to have this memorized for your test. It helps if you write it out. So negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. The more you write it, the more likely you are to remember it. Okay? And your a, b, and c come from your equation. So now we'll just start plugging stuff in. So negative b, what's my b? 3 plus or minus the square root of b squared, what's my b? So 3 squared minus 4 times my a, what's my a value? Times my c value, what's my c value? Negative 5, don't forget that minus in front. All divided by 2 times your a value, and what's my a value? 2. Okay, now that we have everything plugged in, we get to start simplifying. Okay, what's 3 squared?
9.
9. What's negative 4 times 2 times negative 5? Positive 40. Okay, and 2 times 2 is 4. What's 9 plus 40?
29.
Okay, and what's the square root of 49? 7. Okay, so I get negative 3 plus or minus 7 divided by 4. What's negative 3 plus 7? 4. What's 4 divided by 4? What's negative 3 minus 7? Negative 10. What's negative 10 divided by 4?
1.2.
Negative 2.5. So 1 and negative 2.5 are your two solutions.
That's 22 pounds.
So far, so good. Okay, so if I look then at 1a, I have negative 3x squared plus 5x plus 2 equals 0. I'm going to use my quadratic formula. So negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. Okay, and a, b, and c come from your equation. So if I do negative b, what's my b value? 5. B squared, so what's b?
Squared minus 4.
A is negative 3, okay, and what's c? And c is 2.
Line and 2.
Okay, 2a, and so a is negative 3. Okay, so we simplify what's under our square root. What's 5 squared? 25. What's negative 4 times negative 3 times 2?
Wait.
24.
24. And 2 times negative 3 is?
What?
2.
6.
2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Okay, what's 25 plus 24?
49.
49.
So, negative 5 minus 7.
Okay, so it becomes negative 5 plus or minus 7 divided by negative 6. What's negative 5 plus 7? 2. What's 2 divided by negative 6? Negative 1/3. Negative 5 minus 7 is negative 12. Negative 12 divided by negative 6 is 2.
Wow. This is so confusing.
Which part? Okay.
Just the bottom part.
Okay, let's do one more. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Does this make sense? In terms of like, you have it written down. Yes. Because I wrote it down a lot. Okay, and A, B, and C come from your equation. Does everything so far make sense?
Yeah.
The formula and where everything comes from. Okay. So if I start plugging stuff in, negative B, what's my B?
B is
Negative 2. So negative 2 becomes positive 2. Plus or minus the square root of B squared. What's my B?
Negative 2.
So negative 2 squared minus 4 times my A. What's my A?
1.
1 times my C. What's my C? Negative 4 divided by 2 times my A, which is 1. Okay, so far plugging everything in. Does that make sense? Just putting it in. Not necessarily simplifying, but just putting it in. Okay, so I have positive 2 plus or minus the square root. What is negative 2 squared?
4.
Positive 4. And negative 4 times 1 times negative 4 is
16.
16. And 2 times 1 is
2.
2. So far, so good. All I did was multiply. Okay, so 2 plus or minus the square root of 20. 14 plus 16 is 20 divided by 2. So far, does that make sense? All I did was add. Yes. Okay, so what's the square root of 20?
4.
You're going to have to do it in your calculator. It's not a perfect square. It'll give you a decimal. I don't know. I just know it's a decimal. Just round it off to 1 decimal place when you get it. Because it'll give you a lot of decimals probably.
So 4.47.
Yeah.
4.47. Okay? Divided by 2. Alright, does that make sense so far? Just taking the square root. Okay, now we just have to do the problem separately. So the first thing we do is we add.
6.4.
Yep, so 2 plus 4.47 is 6.47. And then you divide by your denominator. So what's 6.47 divided by 2?
3.26.
3.23? Okay, then we take and we do our subtraction. So 2 minus 4.47 is negative 2.47. And then if you divide that by 2, what do you get? Negative 1.23. And that's where your other solution comes in. So does this make sense now?
Yeah, it's around.
Okay, then the other part of your assignment, which is actually going to be way easier than using the quadratic formula, is just using your discriminant to figure out how many solutions you have. And so your discriminant was the part under your square root. So b squared minus 4ac. Okay, and a, b, and c come from the same places. Okay, so what's my b value?
What?
My b value, what's my b value?
10.
10, so 10 squared minus 4 times a, what's my a? And my c? Okay, what's 10 squared?
100.
100. Okay, what's 4 times 3 times 2?
4. And 6.
Sure.
4.
What's 100 minus 24?
76.
76. Okay, is 76 positive, negative, or 0? Positive. And how many solutions do we have if it's positive?
2.
2.
Oh, wow. Oh, so that's yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I was going to ask her, they're like, what? I was like, one more.
Alright. So when you're asked to use your discriminant, you use b squared minus 4ac. That tells you your number of solutions. Okay, so what's my b value?
-6.
Negative 6. So negative 6 squared minus 4 times a. What's my a value?
9.
Times c. What's my c value?
1.
Alright, what's negative 6 squared?
36.
36. Okay, what's 4 times 9 times 1?
36.
And 36 minus 36 is, so how many solutions do I have? 1. When your discriminant equals 0, you have 1 solution. You want to do one more? Okay. Alright, so x squared plus x plus 1. So b squared minus 4ac. Alright, so Tana, what's my b value?
X. No.
So if I do a, b, c. Okay, and so what number's in front of my x? 1. So 1 squared minus 4. What's my a value? 1. And my c value? 1. Okay, so what's 1 squared? Okay, what's 4 times 1 times 1? 4, and 1 minus 4 is? Negative 3. Okay, so if that's negative, how many solutions do I have? No solutions.
Now I get it. Hold on, wait.
Yep. Alright, so you guys are working through 587, 1 through 22. We're doing this today and tomorrow.